Hello and welcome to another edition of the SPFL Through the Lens. And tonight we have a special guest, this man, David Templeton. How are you doing, David? Hello?
All right. Thanks for having
How are
us
we doing? I thought Houston, we have a problem. So how are we doing tonight? All right? I thought we had a problem here.
Yeah, I'm not bad. Yourself?
Good. What we'll do is we'll start off, and then obviously tonight we're joined by our regular co-host, Mr. Sean Fagan. How are we doing tonight, Sean?
Not bad. Peter, how are you?
I'm good. A bit stressed, but getting there. So how was training tonight, Sean?
Well, we had a new addition as a coach. Didn't really do much, the guys. They just stood at the side and just barked orders at folk. But Temps just came down and started joining in with the 14s. So that'll be good for the kids, especially with the experience Temps has had playing at the highest level, playing down at Anfield, all that kind of stuff. The kids will love it.
Definitely. Well, while you're talking about that, let's have a wee look and see what this guy can do with a ball. So,
used to do.
No.
I think we would do that anymore.
Templeton. Oh, that's brilliant.
Marius Zalukis and David Templeton swept the ball high into the top corner, and Scatchell the first to congratulate.
It's the first red card that Craig Thompson has dished out in the SPL for 12 months. Scatchell for 11-man Hearts. Templeton! Jim Jeffries
making good progress here. Stephen Elliott up there with him. It opens up for Templeton. Wonderful goal. Hearts are first to show.
The one, Sean, just pass it in.
That's it, pass it in.
Forward, opens up and scores.
And if you keep a sign of Ricky, go and get post Temps.
What a great individual goal for David Templeton.
Sure of the accolade, 8 minutes from time. His manager.
He's got it coming in the middle. It's a delightful ball into Templeton with a touch. And Hearts will lead on the half hour at Tynecastle.
Some cracking goals in there. Bringing back some good memories,
A few better ones than that as well.
I know. the footage in some of them, there wasn't that great. But obviously, as Sean says, you've been helping him out with a bit of coaching.
Yeah, I was had been in with the under-17s learning, and then been put in with Sean now, just starting this week. So I think I'll be in with him for the rest of the season, and obviously learning with the 14s, and also learning off Sean because I'm new to this. This is me just starting off in coaching. So yeah, it'll be
How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's good. It's totally different from playing. It's total different world. You don't realise until you're doing it. So yeah.
Good. So, going back to the beginning, David, you started your professional career with Stenhousemuir.
Yep, Stenny started there 16, I think.
How did that all come about? Sorry, Sean?
Temps, you were there when I was there, I came on one in January. I think you were just getting your move.
Yeah, I think I was injured at the time, actually.
I thought you were just kidding on so you could get your move.
No, it was actually... I'd done my medial ligament at Queen's Park. So I think I was injured for a few months, obviously before I did leave.
Aye, because I signed on the January transfer window just for the month. And I remember, I meant this, we were talking about this story before, about the bit of giving the fingers to the fans. And I played for Steny, and I think you were in, I can always remember you coming in and saying, he's done it again. Because when I scored against, I don't even know who we were playing when I scored, you were sitting with one of the other guys that were injured. And they were giving me dogs abuse behind the net. See up at, when you walk out the tunnel, it's up to the left-hand side. The wee stand up there.
To the left, yeah.
Aye, and they were giving me pelters, and I've just ran it because we were getting beat 1-0, and then our squad made it 1 each, and then I ran in the net to get the ball, and then they all started giving me abuse. So I gave them the fingers again, and you're like, he's done it again. I'm not going to shut the fuck up, man.
We're not expecting anything else for you.
So,
that's the thing.
So were you part of the young team then, Sean, back then?
No, to be fair, I was at that time. I'd fell out with Maurice Malpass, and he had put me up in the stand for the year. So I had to go and get game time. It was my last season at Mallow, 2007, I think it was. Temps, you'll probably know when you moved, but 2007. Aye, and then I went out and aye, and it was we're talking. Well, I was only because my daughter was born when I was there, I think, and as well. So it was that I was finished my career for that time.
Right, because something told me, what was JP McBride like?
As a player, he was unbelievable. Yeah, he was.
Because that
He could be a loose cannon.
Right.
It was brilliant with me. Like, because obviously I was a kid, he used to help me a lot. Just about being level-headed, and I think because what he had went through as a kid, being so highly rated and kind of not fulfilling what he should have done because his ability was frightening. So he used to always help me in terms of not going the route that he went, staying away from alcohol, all that type of stuff, and yeah, it was good. As I say, it was good for me. We had a few good players that helped me at that stage, and JP was off the field and on the field was brilliant.
Because this man next to you, he said that just exactly the same words, and he's only the only two that have said that JP was just unbelievable. What a player and what a talent.
100% one of the best I've played with. I can remember it was the New Year. JP went to his mates to get steaming basically. We were training the next day. He never turned up. And the manager was raging, went to the boys' house to get him. JP's like, I'm not coming, like, I'll not be at training. We were playing Queen's Park.
Is he to the manager?
Must have been on the setting. And JP didn't start. Nothing each, came on with 20 to go and put one in the top corner. We won 1-0. And that was just the type of things he could do. It was just so good.
Temps, what about his tattoo in the back? You'd have liked his tattoo there.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of Rangers men that wouldn't like that one. But that was
well, I don't think it's a guy on a horse by the sounds of it.
I remember it well. Two big flags: Celtic badge, Island flag, brothers from across the sea. And it was his full back. It was frightening. And I remember his regi plate at the time as well was, I think it was JPM L8888 for 1888. Just the biggest Celtic fan I had ever seen.
He sounds a top man, to be honest with you. He sounds an absolute top man, and what a laugh on a night out. Oh, yeah. Here, Sean. I sent you a picture of my bet for a night, and it's other than St Mirren. It's looking pretty good for 1,200 quid. Why
have you took St Mirren again?
I just took St Mirren.
Aye.
I thought they were playing pretty good compared to Kilmarnock, but obviously your big pal Kyle Lafferty's went and scored for Kilmarnock, so all the other results are all gone my way.
Temps, what do you think of Lafferty?
Mirren don't really have anything to play for.
Do you think how much should have been for Lafferty?
Should they have? It's all right saying that now that he's scoring goals, but I think we probably could have been doing with someone like that. Yeah, in terms of especially with Mario getting injured, who was a big part of what we done. And you know, Lafferty does score goals, so at that end of the table, it would help you massively.
Do you think they'll keep him on? Well, it all depends on whether they get in or not right enough.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else maybe tries to get him. Somebody, I don't know, I don't even know, Motherwell, somebody like that maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody else was interested now because of the goals he's returned since he came in.
Aye, he's... On you go, Sean.
Right, I was going to say he's got that reputation of being a wee bit of a bad egg in the change room when things are not going his way. But it's a gamble that somebody had to take, and Kamara's took the gamble, and by all accounts, it's paying off for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it stays the way it is now, it's unbelievable signing for them. I think I don't know, got about 10 goals or something since he came.
Oh, if he scored the night, I think it's 11.
11?
11 now because he scored the night. So that's some return for obviously bottom end of the table.
So going back to Stenny, who was the sort of jokers in the pack?
JP, Crammy, with a boy Thomas Sinclair, he was off his head.
Right, well, you mentioned, I've heard this story about this Thomas Sinclair and some about getting tied up.
Yeah. I used to.
What was that all about?
So I used to travel with Sinky, Paul Murphy, John Paul McBride, Joe McAlpine, who was mental as well. So we used to come in. Des McKeown, Paul Murphy worked for Des McKeown's company, so had a van from the company. So 2 would be in the front, 2 sitting in the back, and ended up they thought it'd be a good idea to tie Sinky up in the back, and when they stopped at like red lights, they would barge the door open as if Sinky's trying to escape, and then pull him back in, and then we'd speed off. Used to do it going to every training session. The day at the side door as well to people at bus stops, and honestly, I was like 16-year-old thinking, what's going on here? But it was I was thinking, I could easily get pulled air and go to jail for stuff like that. That's the way they were. Every training session, just always up to something.
And was that the sort of best, or did you sort of pranksters at Hearts as well?
No, they were the best, because I think when I went to Hearts, I went into the youth side.
Right.
For me, like being with like older men and the way they would carry on was like a lot more extreme than it would be with 17-year-old boys. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, the kids would never do.
Until you got there.
What's that?
I mean, see,
I says until you got there, you taught them all.
No, I didn't drive, but I would have.
See, when you were a young player coming in through Hearts, were you the sort of shy guy, or were you just full of confidence as well? Were you a cocky lad? Or?
I was not shy I'm quite a shy person, but in terms of playing, a confident boy. In terms of when I'm on the pitch, like I'm always confident. I believe in my ability. So, but away from the pitch, I'm quite quiet until I've probably got a drink in me.
See, that is the first impression I got of Sean, was a sort of a shy, retiring sort of type.
Yep.
Yeah, you got him right then.
I'm pretty shit at reading folk.
Temps, going back to your Hearts, like when you just signed, did you move up there? Did you go into digs or anything like that when you were up there? Or did you travel through every day?
No, when I signed, I went into digs. There was a lady that worked at Hearts, Claire Cowan. Her mum used to take people into digs, and straight away I went in with the boy Ryan McGowan. He'd been there for, I think, a year before me. So he was already living there, and I went in and lived there. And basically, like our own flat, she used to just go in her room and watch TV and stuff in there, and then come in and make food for us and stuff like that. So it was... that was easy there.
I'll tell you what it is, Temps, because obviously we've put it out on Facebook and we've put it everywhere saying that how David Templeton's coming on, and you get all these wee private messages and you get people like contacting us. See the woman you're talking about, is her name Lorraine?
No, actually, well, I was in with Carol to start with for a year, and then Dylan McGowan signed, Ryan's brother. So once he came over, I was like, I'll obviously move out so Dylan could be with Ryan. I went back home, and then the travelling was too much. So I went back into another digs, and it was a woman, Lorraine Loza, she would get called.
Right, because Loza
a little bit.
Because Loza messaged me
And
asked me because she asked me to ask a question about something. Because she's missing a four-legged friend or something.
Yeah.
What's the story about the dog?
Oh, that was my ex, man. That was so they had a dog at the time, and then God's on it, gave it to like Lorraine, and then the dog ran away onto the street, and then my ex like didn't like the fact that it had got out into the street and stuff, so I ended up split up with her, and then she gave the dog away. So it was
because what I was told was you gave it to Lorraine. You gave the dog to Lorraine, and then I'll read it out to you. She says, he gave away his dog to the digs lady, then changed his mind, took the dog back after a week without telling her he was going to, and then he just never came back. Who would have stuck you in there?
Who would have stuck me in?
Aye. Who's told me that story? Because it's Lorraine.
Who's
the
told
ex?
you that? Oh, God.
Aye.
Who
Who did you share with?
Oh, no way. Abo?
Parky, Matthew Park? Aye.
You know him, yeah?
Aye, he came on loan when he was at Hearts, a young boy. He came on loan at East Fife.
Oh,
So I played him. I was at East Fife with him for a wee while. So he messages on Facebook saying that, I see Templeton's on. I says, aye. He says, I says, any good stories? He's like, I asked him about the digs lady. He gave the digs lady the dog, and then never told her you're taking it away from her.
That was my ex-missus, man. That was a disaster.
he's also mentioned another one.
He was so nice.
Was that?
Lorraine was so nice as well. That's the thing. I think he stayed there his full time. He was there, and he must have been at Hearts for about 5-6 years easy.
Aye.
And I'm sure he stayed with Lorraine the full time.
All right. So, when you were with Hearts, who was the manager that brought you on there?
What was that, sorry?
Who was the manager that signed you for Hearts?
Well, the first team manager at the time was Valdas Ivanauskas, but it was the head of youth, John Murray, who signed me.
Right.
So obviously he signed me for the under 19s at the time. No, under 17s I think at the time. So he signed me for the youths, but I was only with the youths for I think a year or so, and then I wanted to go out on loan because I'd been used to obviously House Muir playing first team football, so I wanted to get that again.
So you went to Wraith?
Yep.
How'd you get on there?
Yeah, it was good. First, I was only supposed to be a month to start with, and it was brilliant. My first month went well, scored my debut, and then I signed for the rest of the season, and I struggled a bit. I was too inconsistent, didn't play well enough, but I think that was a real learning curve for me, like not playing, and just realising that it's not as easy as you think it is. So I think that was something that I needed as a kid wanting to get into first team football.
When you were there, Temps, did you play with Hissy? Stephen Hislop?
Yeah, big Hissy, good guy.
He says that with all the money he done to you, at least you've listened to some of it and you made a good career of yourself.
Yeah, he's another one. Like as I say, like JP, he helped me a lot.
He's a money face guy, as you know.
Oh, he was one of the moneyest guys I've ever played with, ever even came across. But I think he was just a winner. I think he'd obviously been higher level when he was younger, and you get that because he was just probably playing with, no disrespect, better players when he was younger. But he was another one always wanting to help me and try and make me better.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Talking about money's players, I think you mentioned in a previous interview, Michael Stewart was one of them.
Yeah, he's probably the one.
Is he?
The moneyest. Yeah, which I think that's maybe the stuff that would go against him in terms of, like, as a person, he was actually really nice off the park. Really, really nice guy. He was actually a good footballer as well. I remember there was a spell for us. It was brilliant. We scored good few goals, winning 1-0s, and yeah, he was man of the match most games. But I think it was that money side of him. I think some managers maybe didn't like that as much, because I know that Jim Jeffries ended up falling out with him because he was moaning at a player when it wasn't the player's fault, it was Mikey's fault. So I think stuff like that went against him eventually.
Because you hear stories, obviously, people's perception of other folk away from football is totally different. But sometimes you hear stories where he came across as a bit of a bully, especially the younger lads, where he would shout at them when it wasn't even their fault and things. Was that how he came across?
Yeah, he did, but to be fair to him, I think he moaned at everybody. Like, it was always, like, as I say, I remember him moaning at the goalkeeper Janos Balog, he was an older player, so it wasn't like, there was
Just
maybe
the young
some
ones.
players that would moan at because they know they would get back at him, like Lee Wallace, for example. He would never say it to him because Waldo would probably just knocked him out, and that's just the truth. So there's probably ones that he maybe didn't moan at more.
What was it like playing with Hearts during the years with all the Lithuanian players coming in and the owner? It must have been crazy.
Well, I think it was worse when I came in as a kid. When I came into the youths, there was a lot of Lithuanians in. By the time I started playing first team, it wasn't too bad. And I think it started to get less and less. So for me, there was only a few when I was playing. And even then, they were all really nice guys, professional. So there was no problems whatsoever.
See when you were at Hearts, I can remember it's one of the times that you get your, like, it was, they started putting your name in the back of the shirt and you get your squad numbers, and now you've got all these people doing, like for myself, your birthday, if it's 84 or whatever it is, the year you were born, but you had a squad and it was a way up to the 70s. That was one thing I always remembered with Hearts. With all them, it was like you would watch the game in highlights on a Saturday night or whatever, and then, well, maybe a Sunday because I was out on the Saturday. But you watch the game and then you see the boy coming on. It was like squad number 89, and that's before that you go down that road of picking your number. You just had a massive squad back then.
Yeah, I remember when I first signed. I think my first number was 45. I think it was 45. And as you say, it did go up to, I think, maybe 72 and that was 17s, I think. And then I think the next year, my number actually went up rather than going down. I think I went to 46. Aye. So it was like, yeah, mental. But that was just the normal.
Don't get me wrong.
At the time.
Aye, there were some cracking players, right enough, that they brought in. Like Zalewska and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Big Marius was good. He was excellent for Hearts. Don't know how long he was there, maybe 10 years or something. He was brilliant for them. Obviously captained them to the cup win, and Lad Kingston, he was some player. Watching him in training he was class.
Kingston.
Yeah. Bruno Aguilar was another one who played as a number 10. Was brilliant. Try to think who else.
But obviously you can't forget the cult hero Rudy Scatchell.
Yeah, that's the thing with Rudy. Sometimes in games, like, he would just drift about. You wouldn't really notice too much. And then, say the ball's down the left-hand side, he'd be just coming in at the right-hand side, just no one near him, and bang, ball falls to him, goal. He was just the best shot I've ever seen. Like, I used to be shooting partner on a Friday. We used to do half volleys and volleys, and the last two would bring cakes, and I never ever lost, even if there was weeks where I never scored, because he would always score. His left foot was unbelievable. Yeah, every shot, didn't miss a target. He would always hit the target, like every shot. He would never
and
try.
Craig Gordon would be in goal at the time, would you know?
Well, he had left at that time, but even then we had like Marion Kelo, who was brilliant at the time as well, and Rudy was just, his left foot was an absolute wand.
Temps, see with all these foreigners, right? It's in the squad and that. And I had a lot of foreigners when we played at Motherwell, and they come in with the horrendous gear. How come everybody's still saying your gear was horrendous? Yours was worse than the foreigners.
My gear?
Aye, that's Matty Parlick again.
Aye. No, he had some of the worst gear I've ever seen, and you've witnessed his gear as well. The boots up to his shins, and he had some horrific stuff. They didn't care. Who else? Ryan Stevenson was bad for it as well. He had some bad gear.
Aye.
No, I mean, that's what you get. I mean,
bad gear at that stage. I'll give him that.
Did that go with your highlights and that when you played? That boys own band that you wanted to be in?
I think I'd got rid of him by that time. I think that's when just at Steny, when it was crammy and that.
Was he getting out the highlights?
Huh?
He was selling the highlights, him.
He's probably still got them as well,
aye, definitely. I mean, what was happening with the hair a couple of years ago? No, I don't think he'll ever grow up. But what was happening with your hair a couple of years ago with the curls, the perm?
Curls? Aye, just I remember it was Cammy Bell. Hair. I thought he'd had something on his hair, and I says to him, "Wow, your hair's looking like it had come in a lot," because Cammy was always dead, basically balding. And he says had a perm. So I was like, I'm going to try it then, see if it does me any favours. And I quite liked it, so I kept getting it, but it was just too much hassle.
So when you were with Hearts, who was the sort of, when you were a younger player, who was the sort of older player that took you under their wing?
At Hearts, Larry Kingston was always good with me.
Mm-hmm. Somebody like Waldo or something like that?
Waldo was quiet. He was very, very quiet. So he'd always just come in, train, go away. Never really speak to him. It was just the way he was. Larry was one that would always talk to me and try and help me. And he used to always tell me that I was a great player and I would do this and I would do that, and just always praising me and always looked after me, to be honest.
See, saying that, Temps, there's a story. What's the story? I think you've went and said it in public as well. I think you've done it with a record about the manager at the time, Jay Slotty, who was at a reserve game, and he brought his in, and he's brought his in front of all the first team players and says David Templeton, all he does is dribble, and he did not go through you or something, and he left the game or something. Tell that story.
Yeah, so we were playing Celtic at Stirling Albion's Park, and if Celtic win, they had won the reserve league. So they came with, I remember Paddy McCourt was playing. I think there was a couple more first team players. I can't remember who else, but the ones that were like injured and like the full squad all came because they were expecting they were going to win. So we were getting beat 2-0, I think it was, and then we scored, I don't know, 80 minutes or something in. And then I think it was probably about the 89th minute. We scored again. I can't remember if I scored or somebody else scored. Went to each anyway. And then the last minute, it was either I scored or somebody else scored to win 3-2. Stoke 10 in the league. We came in on, so I think the game was a Tuesday. Came in the next day and went to do the video and Shabalazlo basically saying, "Oh, it's not good enough. We shouldn't get beat off them and this and that and blah blah blah." And we're like, "What's he talking about?" Me and like Ryan McGowan looking at each other saying, "We win. Like, what's he on about?" So we end up says like, "Gaffer, we win the game." He didn't know he'd left at like 85 minutes and just assumed that we'd been beat.
Christ almighty.
Right.
That's unreal.
Younger players.
I didn't like the younger players there.
No, he'd get it quite hard after them.
Aye.
I wasn't too bad actually. I think he quite liked me because I can remember even my debut against Aberdeen. Larry Kingston got injured and he turned to the bench and was looking who to put on. And he was saying to his assistant or Templeton, who was speaking, I think it was German, he spoke with the guy Werner. And Werner was like, "No, like, not Templeton." And so obviously I'd never played. And then he's like, "No, Templeton, get ready," and put me on. And I came on, done well. And then that was me, like, first team, started the next game at Celtic Park and stuff. So I think
And could you hear him telling you that? No Templeton?
Yeah, as I say, I could hear him saying my name as if to put me on, obviously speaking in German, and then Werner saying no, but he ended up putting me on, and thankfully he was the one that gave my debut, and yeah, so I've got to thank him for that.
Bloody hell. Now, obviously, a big moment in your career for Hearts anyway was your goal at Anfield. Now, what was that like?
Lucky.
First corner for Hearts of Midlothian.
It's
tall targets in there.
Fumble, but
Templeton.
Just to see the crowd reaction.
Veer into position.
Well, I've kept it running because it does show the crowd.
Massive maroon moment at Anfield.
David
Templeton receives the acclaim of his teammates. A nightmare for Pepe Reina.
I mean, even supporters running onto the pitch.
We're heading for extra time.
Yes, honestly.
Well, they've hung in and they've hung in and they've dug in. And at times they've not had a lot of possession, but they've given themselves a chance. And have they taken it? Yes, it's a horror mistake. Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. But Templeton, who's been a threat most of the night, at least hits the target. And I felt if a mistake was going to come, it would come with a but one or two people are now starting to ask this guy questions, and that is a horror show. Hearts very, very much in this game. Are we talking about a winner now, or are we talking about hanging on for extra time? Who knows?
I don't know how he fumbled it.
What a goal, eh?
To be fair, did it hit the net?
Yep, we know the line.
Hit the net.
No, it didn't. I watched it the other day. It did hit the net, so you're lucky because I was going to slaughter you even there. But it all counts. It all counts.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how they go in.
Was that one of your best goals of your career?
I was shite.
No, but the occasion where it is.
Best feeling.
It was, and especially because that got us back in the tie as well. That made it 1-1 in aggregate. We were expected to go down there and get scalped because the year before we get beat off Tottenham 5-0 at home, and then it was a takeover. So the fact that we get beat 1-0 at Tynecastle off Liverpool, we were going down there thinking when we seen the team when we were down there, they're thinking, oh, they're not happy for the last leg, so they're going to obviously try and gaze a doing basically. Because they had Gerrard, Carragher, Sterling, obviously the players.
How was it playing against the players?
Brilliant, but you could see it. They weren't really. I'd say they weren't out second gear the full game. Maybe when we scored, they just raised it a bit, and that's how Suarez then went and scored.
I mean, you don't get a wee chunk took off your arm around like that with Suarez, no. That man's been known to bite folk.
I was trying to stay away from him, so then he went nutmegged. I remember Danny Granger saying before the game, like, making sure I'm not getting nutmegged off him. And I was one later on in the game, he's back to goal and still nutmegged him. As
the commentator says, you you played really, really well that night. So did none of them try and go through you, try and take you out, or try and give you wee niggly comments, or try and wind you up?
Nah,
The level
I don't think. Nah, the level they were at, I don't think they really care about Hearts players. You know what I mean? Didn't know any. So for them, it was true though, isn't it? Like they.
Aye.
And did you get a shirt at the end of it?
Yeah, I got Carragher's. I got his at half time actually. Because I wouldn't usually ask, but I was thinking at half time I could potentially come off and then you don't get anybody. So at half time I was like, I'll ask before I end up getting took off. And it gave me at half time. So, and Big Marius had already said to Gerrard before the game because they done the coin toss. So the captain's he managed to get his.
So how did the move to Rangers come about?
It was a strange one actually. We played that game and we didn't come straight back home. We stayed over and then trained at Everton's training ground on the Friday. And then my agent phoned me on the way back up saying that basically Hearts have accepted an offer. I was to go and speak to Rangers. So as soon as I got up, I had to go to Murray Park and obviously sort everything out. And that was it. So in the space of, as I say, there was been rumours of it during the day. But I just thought rumours, and then I get the phone call on the bus on the way back up, just saying to go straight to Murray Park.
And was it McCoy's and Coach that you met? Or who was it you met up there?
I'm trying to think who was there at the time, actually. I can't remember if Coach was there. Obviously, it was the gaffer was there.
Coach is a good guy. I like Coach.
Yeah, I don't know if Coach was there. I don't know if Durante was there. I think it might just have been the gaffer, and then obviously all the people above him, if you know what I mean. I think was Charles Green at the time, I think it was. He was there.
Aye. It wasn't a good place at the time, right enough. Well, obviously people like Laura and stuff like that getting paid off, but I mean, when you've got personalities like Durant and McCoy and Coach and stuff like that, and big Jim Stewart and Jim Henry and stuff, a good bunch of guys.
Guys, wait a minute, hold on a minute. See when you're doing all this pishy Rangers talk about Coach and all that, who the fuck's Coach? Some folk don't know who this.
Kenny McDowell.
Oh, that turncoat bastard.
He's a really good guy.
The three of them are good together, to be fair.
Aye.
Even out training and that, they were good together. Doing this like small boxes, they would join in and just have a laugh with you. They were a good bunch.
To be honest, I didn't think they were that much in it, to be honest. I didn't think they were that great when they came up to Stirling when we played them.
Nah.
Well, that was your management game. Is that the game you managed?
That's the one. They sat very quiet. I don't know, they were sitting to my right hand side. They're very quiet, temps. Don't know what happened.
The thing is, I don't think a lot of fans don't understand how hard it is going to places like that. Because for their teams, that's when Rangers are coming, there's so much more up for it. You know what it's like.
Aye.
I've been there even when I was at Hearts. You're more up for it playing the Old Firm. So it does make
it
harder.
Fair, on that day, you didn't play that day. You were injured. But
I got injured my second game.
Aye.
Done mine Annan.
Shock.
So thankfully I missed that one against Juice because that was a bad one.
To be fair, when obviously with the parts and all that at that level, Stirling Albion was one of the better ones.
Yeah, they did always have a nice pitch because, as I said, we used it for reserve games at Hearts and that, and it was always good.
Because we were actually worried because of how big and wide it was. I think it was the same width. No, it's not the same width. It was one of the either the length or the width. I think it was the width. It was the same as Ibrox, and I'm thinking, oh my God, our boys are going to get run about here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Looking back at it now, I don't think we didn't play good enough football. We were probably still a bit more direct when than we maybe should have been, because we did have big strikers and probably didn't utilise playing with the ball as much as we could have to make it probably easier for ourselves. We probably made it merry a battle at times than it probably should have been. It suited other teams.
What did you think? See, when you were down and you're playing like the likes of Stirling Albion, Elgin City, your Bretons all time, how did you, as a player, mentality-wise, how did you feel? Because you were in full time all the time. You know what I mean? Everybody's expecting you to go win 5, 6, 7-0.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, people expect that, but it's not always as easy as that.
Aye.
Especially the away games. At home, yeah, fair enough. Like, there was games we did win 5, 6-0 and that, which is expected of you. But that's the thing, being at Rangers is expected away as well, regardless.
Aye.
But you know, some of the games can be tough. People constantly in your face, no time in the ball whatsoever. I remember we played. Actually, I think it was still in Albion. Did you had the what was the boy's name? Was it Nathan, me ginger boy? Was it Nathan?
No.
His name.
I remember the game we beat you. We kicked you off the park, to be honest with you. Because that's where we could get near.
Brooks. I think the boy's name is Nathan.
Who?
Nathan Broccoli.
No, did he not play? He played with Airdrie. He played with Airdrie. He was a wee muscly boy, wee stocky boy.
Was it that game then? I remember there was a game anyway, and I get smashed 3 times within the first 10 minutes, 3 bookings, and that was just the normal. The games, you were just, as soon as I get near you, they were just smashing you, and that was just letting you know you were in a game basically straight away.
Well, to be fair, we scored. I think we scored against Rangers, and I think it was the 6th or 8th minute for a corner, which, with the size you had, you had Big Kyle, Kevin Kyle, you had Big Jig, you know what I mean? You had Lee Wallace, you had all these boys at 6 foot plus, and you think how Brian Allison, who is 5'10", scores for a set piece. You think, Jesus, and then we just turned it into a battle. We had Sonny hang on to, and then Ian Black in the middle of the park. I remember this challenge attempts. I don't know if you were at the game. Last year, the box keep. Was that?
You get kicked in the face.
No, I get kicked right in the chest.
I remember a high one.
He's watching the ball coming across his shoulder, and Gary Tom has just went in, studs right through him, right through his chest. He was struggling to breathe and everything, and the ref didn't even give a foul.
Shocking.
Stuff like that didn't help us then.
To be fair, it was your brother Bobby Madden that fucking sorted you out. He sorted you out this year anyway, so don't worry about it.
Don't geez that nonsense. Who was the sort of characters in the team then? Because obviously you had a lot of foreign guys as well, like Kabari and Forey and
a
couple of guys that didn't even dare look at a Rangers team.
Kyle Hutton. Absolutely.
I like Kyle. Kyle's a lovely guy, but he's a bit of a nutter.
Yeah, funny guy. He's just non-stop, just as I say, just funny, just bonkers, always up to something. Who else in the 3rd division at the time? Cal Naismith, full of carry on. They two together, they were like best mates, just constantly carrying on. Big Kyler was quite a vocal guy, quite funny as well. I think.
Going back to it.
Then Dean Shields as well, actually. Dean Shields is funny. So he was another one.
Yeah.
There was a question we were speaking about Rangers when they went to the 3rd division, and as a player, you maybe be a wee bit better to answer this one when you played with them. We had the debate about when Rangers went to the 3rd division. They shouldn't have went and spent as much money as they did to get themselves out of the leagues. As now we're coaching at the same level, we're taking the kids, and you can see how good it is coming through Accies. And you had your was it Gooch or whatever reason, Kenny McDowell, the turncoat for him, coach, right? For him, leaving Celtic, coaching the kids, or 21s at the time at Celtic, he's got that experience to go in. Would it have not been beneficial for Rangers as a club to get maybe a good handful of kids that the club means something to them, die-hard Rangers fans, instead of just picking up a wage? The fans would have, I feel, as the fans would have bought into that scenario, having 6 young boys there, it maybe take us maybe 5 or 6 years to get there, but in 6 years' time they've all played the same games. They learn each other, and you have a few experienced ones. What's your thoughts on that?
It's easy saying that in hindsight, but see, what happens if, say, you play kids that first season and you don't go up? The fans only have.
I said that.
Not
I
a
said
chance.
that it's a fine balance of trying to get out the league.
Yep, Hearts won the league, and it was horrendous.
Aye, I bet.
They demand success straight away, so I can see why they've done it, and they try to bring through a few young players, but at the same time, maybe they didn't think a lot of the youth players were good enough, because only a few actually made it. Lewis McLeod,
Barry Mackay. But you had guys like Hawks, and Liam. Yeah. He's a good die-hard Rangers man. Liam Kelly.
Liam, he's doing well now, to be fair.
I think he's a fantastic keeper. But obviously you had guys like McCrory's coming through at the time as well, and when I was there, you had Billy Gilmore and Dapo and all these sort of guys coming through the youth, but they were just far, far too young at the time. But you had Andy Murdoch as well.
Yeah, Murdoch played a few games.
He played under McCall. Aye. So it's as you say, it's a fine balance. But as I says, when the question was asked, it was demanded in Rangers to come up through the seasons year on year.
Yeah,
and then it just hit the fan when they done the playoff against Motherwell. With your big pal, Big Mosney.
The demand to get it away because of the size of the club. It's just they've been used to winning things. It's the same even when they did come back up. Fans thought they were going to win the league again, even though they'd been out of that league for so long. That's just what fans expect. So, as I said, if they did go with youth and it didn't work out, it would have been, they'd get slaughtered.
I mean, I remember they didn't even win, was it a Challenge Cup? Against Rafe Rovers at Easter Road?
Yeah.
You guys like Fraser Foster and stuff like that? Or Richie Foster, sorry. Playing in the team. But what was Big Mosney like?
He was cracking, big guy. Really, really nice. But you could see that he had that other side to him. You knew he could flip if he wanted. But as I said, really, really nice guy. Top professional. But yeah, then it didn't surprise us what happened at Motherwell because he did have that in him.
Honestly, who was the hardest?
I wouldn't have him either.
No. Who was it? Who was the hardest? Who's the hardest player you played with? The one you would say, nah, I'm not messing with him. Even a wind up in the changing room, you're like, nah, he'll flip. Aye, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. I remember even we were on the bus going to an away game, and I was quite prone for like messing about, throwing sweeties at people and like kidding on it wasn't me and that. So remember I flung one and hit Mosney. No, sorry, wee Barry Mackay flung one and hit Mosney, and I didn't see it. So I was just looked up, and Mosney's standing there tapping me. I'll kill you, like gone mental. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Blair? Like, what you on about? You hit me, you always throw sweeties, you hit me. And me, Barry Mackay was like, it was me, Billy, I'm sorry. Like, feel scared feeling up to it because he could just lose it. But even then, I was shitting myself. I was like, what are you on about? Like, scary guy, but he was like absolutely ripped, shredded, like just solid, so strong. And as I say, just mental if he wanted to be. But yeah, he'd be the one I would not want to fight with.
What about Jig and his wind-ups? Were you in the end of any of them? Or was he just constantly crack jokes?
Just loud. I don't think I ever was in any of his wind-ups, but he was just loud. You'd always hear him before you seen him. Every morning, you would just hear him coming down the corridors. Just him and Chris Boyd, two loudest guys ever. They're like you, Sean. Like if you were to,
I'm a quiet guy.
That's
I'm a quiet.
Hands. Good guys, good characters.
Who was your best mate at these clubs, Hearts and Rangers?
And Stenny, because I was there.
Aye.
Stenny was definitely no Sean. Thankfully, I had Hearts was Ryan McGowan. I lived with him for a year, so I got close with him. Rangers, I was close with Kyle Hutton, Dean Shields, and wee Barry Mackay. So I'd say they were probably the ones I was most pally with.
Nice. I mean, obviously, you moved on to Hamilton now. You had a spell there. You had a spell there, and then you went away, and you've come back. So you're currently injured now. How's that going?
Yeah. All right, getting there. I think it'll be pre-season now. Hopefully back for that. So yeah, just had to write this season off, unfortunately. But hopefully the lads can get a result. Obviously, it remains a night to take into Sunday to hopefully keep us in this league for next season.
Definitely. So have you started? Are you doing any sort of training?
Yeah, I was looking to be back for now. I was back. When was that? 3 weeks ago. I was running, kicking the ball, and everything was feeling good. I was supposed to join in training. That was on the Wednesday. I was supposed to join in training on the Friday, and I hit a shot, and I felt my groin / hip flexor again. And then I got it scanned. I had strained my hip flexor, so just kind of setback that I didn't need, but it just means I can get it right now for obviously next season. Because I was obviously trying to rush back for the remaining games.
And have they gave you a schedule with regards to what you should be achieving over the next few weeks, or is the physios in that keeping an eye on you?
I'll be in with the physio. I'll be in the off season as well. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days a week. So I'll still be getting treatment on it. But as I say, this time I can take my time and make sure I get it right, and the strength and all that there is totally fine, mate. Before I obviously come back.
Any funny stories about this man? Other than he's a crackpot.
Actually, no. Apart from being a crackpot, there's not much.
I'm not going with that, Davey. I'm not going. I'm not fond for that. There must be something. There must be some sort of dirt on him.
I've not got any, but coaching with him now, there'll be something within this year, 100%.
I mean, obviously, you've only started this week as a coach with him, but what's his coaching style like?
From what I've seen, he's quite strong. Just gets his point across, definitely. Seems good. The kids seem to like him. He knows when to. You can see he has a joke, but he knows when to be serious as well. So yes, seems as if he's going to be good, and the kids seem to like him, which is the main thing.
That was after the 5 of them went up the road greeting because I shouted at them.
That's the side I didn't see. Tough love though, isn't it?
That's it.
Have you started doing your coaching badges?
Yeah, started. So it was August there. Sorry, I started it in August. Hopefully, we finished the B license in the summer.
A lot of work in that.
Yeah, there isn't half. It's a lot of computer work, especially now with COVID as well. A lot of it's been on Zoom and all that, so I'm hopeless with computers. So that's probably what I found toughest.
He seems to be all right with computers. What about you, Sean? What badges have you got?
I've got the B license. I've done that. Done that when I was at Stirling, because obviously as the the management team, you have to have a recognised licence to take a team in the SPFL. So the club was actually good with us. They put us through a licence, me, Greg and Marco. The three of us went down the Largs, but it's totally different for the time, like what David's doing now. We went down for the week, hired out a cottage. Who there was the boy centre mid, Leon Osborne. Is it Oz that played with Everton? He was there.
Osman.
Osborne. Osman. He was done it. He was actually a really nice, genuine guy. There's quite a good few. Faddy was on it as well, but the sun popped up in his time and he had to go up the road quite quickly. I've done it with Karami, Peter. Me and him were on it at the same time. But again, I'm going back 10 years nearly. You're talking, and they brought it. It's more advanced with all this technology. Before it was just you go down, put your sessions on, get your point across, stop it when it needs to be stopped to have your coaching points, and then up the road. It was a canter, to be honest. I remember speaking to Parky, Donald Park. Parky told me, he says, B's for basic. So do the basics. You don't need to overthink it. When you go for your A, it's more advanced, and obviously you're professionals, you're pro. So he's like, just do your basics, you'll pass that. Don't try to go above yourself. He says, because people do it and then they get mixed up and then they don't realise what they're doing and they hit their mind goes blank and then they end up failing it because of it. So if you just keep it simple, Temps, you'll be fine.
What sort of topics do you get through with it? What sort of topics are on that? Is it setting drills and tactics and formations, or at that age group is there something else?
No, for the B licence, it's geared for adults. So for me, it was Temps will tell you what he does, but for me, it was a case of it's your training drill. So you get a theme to deliver. So if it's a theme like attacking the final third, you would then have to do a passing drill, a phase of play, a second phase of play, and then a game related to it. So you had to have it all, your full session planned for that theme. And then that was it for us. But I think Temps with the B licence, there's a lot more to it, Temps.
Yeah, I think we've probably had about 12 different assignments from August. Some will be, for example, having to do one of the under-18s games, 2.5, having to put out the set pieces for and against, highlight the weaknesses and strengths, and just analyse the half. And we had to pick kind of same thing, like a theme. So the one I done was striker movement. So then I had to pick 3 clips where the striker movement wasn't good enough, and I had to clip it, highlight why it wasn't good, and just to explain my reasoning why it wasn't. So that was just like one of them. But there's been loads of different stuff I've had to do.
I see you to go through a bit of analysis stuff, make up your own clips.
Yeah, there's loads of different ones. There's ones based on training in terms of trying to think. There was one that was you had to do sessions based, and you had to do your pitch sizes, and you had to alter it to make more endurance based and just stuff like that. It's hard to explain, but there's been loads of different ones I've had to do.
Bloody hell! And what is it? Because one of the coaches I helped go through his at Morton, Pat, I had to clip training sessions and all that for him, just to try and help him do that sort of analysis side. And they were using Focus. Is that still what you're using with that, or no? Is it Huddle? What is it they're using for that?
We've got one called iSports, and then there's one called ASC.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we use for different things we need to work on.
Brilliant. So the plan, what I'll do is, before we finish up, one of these, pick a number 1 to 10.
7.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh.
To heal quickly.
What?
To heal quickly.
What did you say?
To heal quickly.
Oh, that would be a good one. I think it has to be Fly, wouldn't it?
Fly.
Fly.
What would yours be, Sean?
Either that or Invisible.
Invincible. Invincible will be mine. That's mine. Temps.
Invisible. No, I says Invisible, so they can.
Invincible.
Sometimes I wish she was invisible.
Like Saturday.
Hey, missing man.
What about you, Sean? You pick a number 1 to 10.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I've done this, Peter. I was on as a 4.
I know.
4.
4. Is it one? Maybe this is one you've had before. I think there's a question I asked Pizzo, but what was your favourite sport movie?
Sport movie. You've got the what's it? The Titanic. Fuck.
Titanic.
No, what's the one? It's the American football one.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. Cheers. I'm murder with names of the songs, but that was good. Was it Moneyball? With Brad. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Aye, that was good.
Obviously, I think we've mentioned it before. Rocky.
Rocky was and will always be one of the great films. And it's got to be the Russian fight. I've said this many times.
Rocky 4, Ivan Drago.
Mine would be Remember the Titans or else The Blind Side.
Blind Side?
Is that one?
True story. It's American football as well. Boy that's basically homeless and gets took in by a family, put him through college and becomes an American football player. Yeah, get a watch. Brilliant.
You never watched that Last Chance U on Netflix?
I watched some of it and then gave up on it, to be honest.
Temps, before we finish up, Temps, go and tell me who was the best manager you worked under and to make you a better player. Who did you enjoy the most working under?
Jim Jeffries, just purely because the way he was with me, like he just got me to stay wide. Whenever I got the ball, I was just to try and beat men. Like, didn't care if I gave it away. So for me, like in terms of my confidence, I was sky high under him. In terms of as a coach, was probably Paulo Sergio. He just brought in a different, like, more tactical side of the game. So for me, having to learn defensively and what positions to be in, that helped me massive as well.
Okay, let's see since Peter's put that along the bottom there. That's actually helped us. St Mirren scoring there. Because if we didn't, if the scores remained the same, we were down the night.
It's still 2-1.
We need a goal. See, to be fair, with the stats as well, they've had 2 shots and goal. But to be fair, we've only had 1 on target.
You still get 10 minutes.
Sean, we need a scoring goal or us to score, because I think even if it stays the same, we'd be done.
Goal difference?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck. Fuck's sake, Peter, you just wasted our fucking night.
Sorry to finish on that note. Well, I'd like to take the opportunity. Thanks for coming on, David. Bringing us a better insight what life's been like for you coming into football and the teams that you played for and some of the bangers that you played with.
No, you never played with me. Never played with me.
So, thanks very much for your time, David, and all the very best for the future. And hopefully you recover fairly quickly and you get a good pre-season under your belt.
I'm not sure about that, but thanks very much. Come on.
Just to go into pre-season though, what would be the pre-season be like at Aki's?
I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I think because that year there it was shortened because of COVID. So I don't know how it'll be next season. And I think it could all depend on what league we're in as well.
Would Boozy not take that?
Nah, him and the gaffer will take the football side of it, but you'll have the sports science. They have a say in it now as well in terms of the fitness side.
What's he like about the place? He seems a bit of a nut job.
Who?
Boozlin.
Boozy? Nah. Boozy's calm, quiet, good coach. He's a good guy.
Because he's the only one, when I've done academy games against Hamilton Accies, he's the only one that you hear on the touchline. He was just shouting and bawling.
Nah, it doesn't really seem like that at our level. He's quite quiet. He'll have his say in the changing room and stuff, but he'd never really down at the side.
I think it maybe be his friend's accent makes it worse than what it is.
Aye, maybe. But anyway, I'll let you get on to watch the rest of this football. So once again, thanks very much for your time, David, for coming on. Thanks again, Sean, for your time. I know it's a rush for you. All right, thanks very much.
See you later.
Cheers.